Safety, regular meeting for May 22nd, 2025. Will come to order, please. The first item on our, and the chair does recognize a quorum this evening. The first item on our agenda is the approval of regular meeting minutes from April 24th, 2025. And the chair would also entertain a motion to also accept the approval of the canceled meeting for the minutes from May 8th, 2025. If you want to take those together.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the regular meeting minutes from the April 24th, 2025 meeting and approval of the canceled meeting minutes from May 8th, 2025.
Thank you, Mrs. Lawrence. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. So moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is unfinished business, and there is not any. So it takes us to new business, and the first item is the approval of agency services agreement with Crosswalk Health. Chief Wallace. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for your service, as usual. And on item A and B, they both deal with Crosswalk, so it might be easier if I just, I'll cover A, but they're both the same.
One and two.
Basically. Yeah.
1 and 2.
So basically what Crosswalk is, it's a service that we're looking into, and Indianapolis EMS, IEMS is also going live with this, hopefully, last time I was told maybe in June or July. And this meets Mayor's potentially live longer Lawrence vision. It's an agency that sometimes when we get 911 calls, it's a low acuity call. For example, maybe a toothache. And what this agency will do is our 911 caller, dispatcher will divert that call to Crosswalk. The patient will be given a nurse navigator, and they can either do telemedicine right there, or they can make an appointment with the clinic, or say the person just needs a lift to a doctor's appointment. They can order them a lift and get them to the doctor's appointment. So it's something that will hopefully be very good for patients and also obviously for the city. And the best news is it costs $0 to the taxpayer. It costs nothing to the city. This is something that they're doing at no charge with Indianapolis, and if approved by the board and ultimately the mayor, would be for us as well. And as far as our existing dispatch infrastructure, none of that has to change either. So.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions from the board members?
So if the call comes in and it's determined that it should go to Crosswalk, does that literally free up that dispatcher to take another call because the call goes off of their queue, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Now, there are certain situations where the call may get transferred back. Say the Crosswalk nurse navigator starts talking to the patient, and the patient's like, no, I still want an ambulance, or they find out that, okay, maybe there's more to this story, then there are some cases that would get sent back to the dispatch.
Okay.
But our hope is, with education, and this would be a 90-day rollout more than likely as well. This is not going to something that starts next week, because we want to educate the public, and dispatchers have to be trained. I think that's like 4 hours of training or something like that. It's not very long, and then get people educated into what that looks like. But yeah, our ultimate goal is that those very, very low acuity runs, and we have a medical director through Methodist Hospital, because paramedics actually have to work in our fire department, has to work under a medical direction. Yeah. And our medical directors reviewed this, and they're going to also flag what calls they're comfortable with going to this nurse navigation. So.
Okay.
Chief, that medical director is Dr. Kunzer, is that correct?
No.
Oh.
So Dr. Paige Ostowski is our Methodist Hospital medical director. But speaking of Dr. Kunzer, as you know, he is the Chief Medical Officer for the City of Lawrence, and we've had him in on these meetings too, and he seems very receptive to this program.
Okay. And you said it's costing the city nothing?
Yeah, it costs the city $0. And it costs IM, same way with Indianapolis. Where Crosswalk makes their money is they work with payers, such as insurance agencies, and an insurance agency would rather, a patient, say, go to a clinic for a minor injury than go to an ER with a $3,000 bill plus a $1,500 ambulance bill.
Someone is paying, it's just not,
Right.
Okay.
Now, one of our questions were what happens about with, there's some people that just simply don't have insurance. And Crosswalk still intends to provide them, point them in the right direction and this and that. In that case, Crosswalk is, from what we've been explaining, it's more of sort of like a numbers game. Those, those patients that don't have insurance, so they will not bill them, I guess is the point being. That patients will not receive a bill from Crosswalk. Now, if they go to the clinic up the road, they may get a bill from that. But
Right.
patients would not be getting bills from Crosswalk.
Okay. Sounds like a great program.
Yeah, we're very excited
Yeah.
to be looking into it for sure, and
Good.
hopefully it all works out. And like I said, 1 and 2 are very similar. I think 1 has to do with the fire department, and then I think the second one has to do with our dispatch and the fire department, because they have to have agreements technically with both.
Can we take those together?
I was just going to suggest that the chair would entertain that if there's no other questions.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the agency services agreement with Crosswalk Health and the approval of the HIPAA Business Associate Agreement with Crosswalk Health in one fell swoop.
Thank you, Mrs. Lawrence. Is there a second?
I second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Chief, thanks very much. Item 3, next item is a leave of absence request by an employee. Ms. Jackson?
Good afternoon, and thank you. Each one of you should have received a letter in regards to a leave of absence for an employee. Due to the sensitive nature of such, I did not put everything in the notes, but you all should have received the letter that was sent on behalf of the employer, myself, from HR for the employee. The employee is aware of the letter and has approved the letter, and so we just want to come in front of you, in front of the board, to ask for that leave of absence, the initial request, as well as the extension that is listed.
We acknowledge that we have the letter, and thank you for that. Is there any questions from the board members?
No.
Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the leave of absence request as presented.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Ms. Jack, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item is item 4, approval of professional services agreement with MJJ Recruiting LLC. Ms. Jackson, once again?
Good afternoon, evening again. MJJ Recruiting was a recruiting services. As you know, sometimes we always have people apply online, but we also may need to reach out to a recruiting company to find the best candidates and such. With that being said, typically most of the times they do have a specific percentage that is based upon the salary, and within that agreement states and shows how much of the percentage that is paid directly to that agency for their services.
Any questions from the board?
I do. So do you have specific positions in mind, or is it just?
This was a one-time. This is just a one-time for just that, for services for that particular employee, that with the contract that you received.
For what do you mean, for one?
For their services. This is a one-time to find a candidate who we decided to pick from. We only used them for their one time, for that one
Got it,
position,
got
excuse
it.
me,
So this
correction.
isn't a blanket agreement where you're going to use them going forward?
Correct. That's
Got it.
correct. It's just the
Okay.
one time.
Thank you for clarifying that.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, I would move approval of the professional services agreement with, I'm looking at the wrong one, with MJJ Consulting.
MJJ Recruiting LLC, yes. Thank you,
I
Ms. Lawrence.
second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Jackson.
Thank you.
The next item is item 5, which is approval of professional services agreement with Thomas and Reed LLC. Mr. Najala, Mr. Controller?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you. So a little background in the Controller's office is we have had a position for internal auditor. What an internal auditor basically does is just make sure that we are compliant, and that's just to, compliant before we get audited by the state. This was actually a recommendation from the Common Council a few years back. It was entered in the statute, in the salary ordinance, but just market how the market structure is out there. We have not been successful in filling that position. It's been on there for all of 2024 and now 2025. So after the administration discussing with the mayor and everyone else involved, it became feasible to just contract this service. Typically, our auditing our finances take about a month. And so it became feasible to just bring in someone once a year at a fraction of what it would take to actually bring in a new employee who we are already struggling to even get in, for the fraction of what we would bring in a new employee with. And that's why we decided to pursue this engagement with the vendor.
Thank you. Mr. Controller, is there any questions from the board?
No.
Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the professional services agreement with Thomas and Reed.
Thank you, Mrs. Lawrence. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Controller.
Thank you.
Next item is item 6, approval of sales agreement, Sharp Business Systems. Is there anybody to address this? Madam Corporation Counsel?
Good afternoon / good evening. It's
Good evening.
almost 6, almost 5:30, I believe. So Amber Finley, Corporation Counsel for the City of Lawrence. This agreement is for copiers. There are about 3 of them, and they're renewing the lease. And so it's a number of agreements in there. So we'll just make sure if the board does decide to approve this, that you just sign in those specific areas. There's a couple of places in there that I wanted to point out. But yeah, copier agreement, or excuse me, copy machines, for 2 for this building, and then 1 for the police station.
Okay, thank you.
Any
You're
questions from the board?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the agreement with Sharp Business System.
It's been moved.
I second.
It's been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next item is item 7, approval of task order 14 for part-time construction inspection services with Shrewsbury and Associates, CCMG 2025-1. Mrs. Rapala, thank you.
Thank you, board members. This is for the Community Crossing Matching Grant 25-1 that we were awarded from NDOT. And Shrewsbury prepared the bid documents, the plans, and they also will be performing our inspection services on the project if you approve the agreement.
Thank you. Is there any questions from the board?
Is this for the projects that we've already approved?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's that same collection of 5 or 6,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, that we approved a couple meetings
So
ago.
the one you approved last time was 2024-2,
Uh-huh.
Community Crossing Grant. This is 25-1. It's a separate project.
Okay, but we haven't approved the neighborhoods or the roads?
Yes, ma'am, you did. And
Okay.
you approved the contract with Howard Companies was awarded.
Right,
We're
okay.
ready to begin the project, and we need to
Just trying to keep
secure our
them together
inspector.
in my mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Any other questions?
I have no questions. I would move approval of the agreement with Shrewsbury and Associates for construction inspection services.
It's been moved
I second.
and it's been seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. That brings us to comments from the administration, and we have several administrators here tonight. Madam Corporation Counsel, anything? Human Resources, Ms. Jackson, anything further? Mr. Controller? Mrs. Rafala? Okay, thank you. Next item is citizen comments. Is there any citizens in the audience that would like to come and address the board this evening? Seeing none, thank you for being here. That brings us to adjournment, and the chair will entertain a motion according. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Rafala, go ahead, please.
I forgot to mention that I was promoted. I'm now the interim Public Works Director.
That's right.
Just for the record, I forgot to tell you guys that. The attorney reminded me.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Rowling. Congratulations on that. Anything else?
I
Okay.
move adjournment.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.